Hi, good morning, friends. This is Navjot Singh, RCIC, coming back to you once again with the common challenges that people face. So today I'm going to talk about the problems that students face and they get into. They actually kind of spoil their chances of getting a post-graduation work permit or permanent residence because of little mistakes that they make, probably because of non-awareness. And this is an endeavor actually to educate students that what are the mistakes that they should not make and what is that they should be doing while they are studying here as a full-time student. Now, what we have seen in the recent past is there are many people who have got rejections to their post-graduation work permits because of these small mistakes. And typically few of them that when we spoke to the students or when we observed what the rejections were, what we found was that there are some mistakes that students do. The first mistake that they generally do is that they are not a full-time student in a particular semester when they should be, which means they should be doing at least 9 credits. Number two, they can only take a break if it is a scheduled break. And we have observed people taking break at their own will and choice. Number three, the challenge that comes is whether they started working full-time, more than 20 hours during their full-time student status. We have also noticed that some people, when they do the completion of study, when they are part-time students, they take up full-time studies. And we have also observed that many colleges, the advisors in the colleges give wrong advice to students, and you should be aware of those wrong advices being provided to you. Please check yourself. Go to canada.ca website. Have a detailed outlook of whether you can work or not work, whether you can work part-time or full-time. So this is an endeavor to educate you on that. So I have seen in the recent past that the student counselors in different colleges giving wrong advice to students. So be aware of that. More importantly, so today, as I said, that what is most important. So how will you be qualified as a full-time student? As I said, if you are working full-time every semester taking 9 credits, you are a full-time student. You should not drop the credit in between. So which means you should not withdraw from a credit. I mean, if you picked up 3 credits, 3 subjects or 9 credits and you withdrew 1 credit, so you will not be considered as a full-time student. So be conscious of that. You can work only part-time when you are a full-time student. During your scheduled breaks, you can work full-time. And what is a full-time? Full-time is probably even 2 jobs, more than 30 hours, right? So 40 hours, let's say you do one job 40 hours, the other job 30 hours, yes, you can do that. So there's no problem in that once you are in a scheduled break. Apart from that, who can actually work and who cannot work? So you cannot work if you have completed these studies and you have not applied for a postgraduate work permit. In between these 2 periods, you cannot work. You cannot work if you are a part-time student. Let's say you dropped off a particular subject. You became a part-time student. In that case, you cannot work even part-time. This has to be clear to every student. So here is a table that basically shows you that when can you actually work full-time and conditions when you can work part-time and the conditions when you cannot work. So you can pause for a while and have a look at this table thoroughly. So hence, your foremost, your priority should be your studies, a full-time study, actively pursuing studies. Yes, you can take leave of absence. It depends on various factors. First factor is if you are sick, you are not well, you cannot attend the college. Your college stopped, the session because of a particular reason. You must take a letter from the counselor that this is, it's a college who has actually kind of stopped giving you that particular subject. You must have a document for that. So those could be the reasons. The third reason could be that yes, you have completed your first 1-year program and you want to now get enrolled into a 2nd-year program. There are certain conditions which you need to ensure if you want to work in between these 2 semesters. And what are those conditions? Let me give you a little hint about that. If you have already applied, if you have already applied for a study permit extension and you completed your first year studies when you came here, the previous studies, and at that time you were, the condition on your work permit was that you can work on campus or off campus, and you have a valid study permit. That's the third thing. You have applied for study permit extension, you have enrolled, you've got the acceptance, and you have enrolled into the new program. You had a valid study permit which is now gone for extension, and now since you received a letter of acceptance for a new program, and 150 days have not passed in between. So which means that let's say today you completed first year program, and then the next program is starting let's say 180 days from now. So in that case, you cannot work during this period. But if that program starts within 150 days, then yes, you can work. So this is very, very typical thing, and this must be followed. And these days, CIC is asking for these kind of questions, wherein they are asking for, the pay stubs. They are also asking for your notice of assessments, T4s, to ascertain that, you are following these conditions on your study permit. You must be aware about these three regulations, which is 186F, 186V, and 186W. They are nothing but, in simple words, it's basically that you should be a full-time student. The program should be more than 6 months, leading to a degree, diploma, or a certificate. The program should not have more than 50% of its study as English as second language or French as a second language. So if those things are, you're abiding by these three, and your study permit clearly states at the bottom, there is a remark that, you can work off or on campus, then you are eligible to work part-time during your full-time studies and full-time during your scheduled breaks. If you have applied for a post-graduation work permit, you can work full-time, but only after the day you have applied. Whether you have applied online or you have gone to the border and you collected your postgraduate, you can obviously work full-time, right? So those are the things which are very critical to know. Hence, please do not make these mistakes. Please ensure that you do what you came for, what is your original intention of coming to Canada. Please come and study. There are students that we see that those who just get this, they think the study permit they have got, so they can do whatever they want, and they drop going to the school, going to the college. So you are violating ERPA, and you can be asked to go back if you are found, if you're caught, right? So hope this video will help you, and if you have any more questions, you can come back to us, and we'll be happy to make more videos about the problems that you generally face. Have a good day. Stay blessed. Thank you.